Long after the height of global superstardom fades into memory, the reality of sustaining a life shaped by decades of fame begins to reveal a quieter, more complex truth, and for Janet Jackson, that truth is less about decline and more about transformation, because her journey has always existed at the intersection of immense cultural impact and constant public scrutiny, starting from an early age when she was already part of a world where performance, expectation, and visibility were woven into everyday life, and as she grew into one of the most influential artists in modern music, her career became defined by reinvention, bold creative choices, and a level of discipline that allowed her to maintain relevance across changing eras. Yet what is often overlooked is the personal cost of maintaining such a presence for so long, especially in an industry that rarely allows its icons to age naturally without comparison to their younger selves. And as time has passed, the pace of her public appearances has shifted, reflecting a move toward a more balanced and selective lifestyle rather than a constant presence in the spotlight, which for some observers creates the impression that something is wrong or missing, when in reality it often signals a conscious decision to prioritize health, personal well-being, and long-term stability after years of high-intensity performance and public attention. And this shift becomes even more significant when considering the pressures she faced throughout her career, including the expectation to continuously evolve artistically while also meeting the demands of a global audience that has long associated her with groundbreaking visuals, choreography, and musical innovation. And as those expectations naturally become more difficult to sustain with time, the meaning of success begins to change, moving away from constant visibility and toward a more internal sense of fulfillment that values personal life, family, and creative freedom over external validation. And this transition is something many long-standing performers eventually experience, but in her case it is amplified by the scale of her influence and the depth of public connection that fans have with her earlier work, which can make any change in presence feel more dramatic than it actually is. And while some narratives attempt to frame her current life as difficult to watch, the deeper reality reflects a natural progression that comes with longevity in any demanding field, where the later stages are defined not by the need to prove anything but by the ability to maintain balance and continue living on one's own terms. And her influence remains visible in the countless artists who have drawn inspiration from her music, style, and performance approach, demonstrating that legacy does not fade simply because public appearances become less frequent. And in that sense, her story today is not about loss but about continuity in a different form, where the impact of her work continues to resonate while her personal life evolves away from constant observation, and ultimately what is being witnessed is not a decline but a shift, one that reflects the reality that even the most iconic figures eventually move into phases of life that are quieter, more private, and less defined by public expectation, yet still deeply meaningful in ways that extend far beyond the stage.